Well, greetings and hello there, everyone. It's I, your beloved Star Wars Dad Nooch Good. We're trying out a new little evil laugh at the beginning. I don't know. I don't think that's going to stick. But anyway, hey, I want to talk about something. And you guys know that I had a rant on GAC a couple weeks ago about how it's just ridiculous. And I really wanted to have this discussion today. And I think it's worth a discussion, and I kind of want to get your feedback. But I really feel like in the early rounds of GAC, and specifically Carbonite, Grand Arena, even into like Bronzium, you could even maybe say all the way up to like Kyber, that I just think like Carbonite, Grand Arena, I just think it's a dead game mode. Now, with that said, I had a pretty good little setup this time. If we look at my account, my account, we're just getting started. We're 11 weeks in, 729,000 galactic power. I did not buy a Lightspeed bundle. We're not or a hyperdrive bundle. Not spending on anything. I actually had a decent matchup this last round. My first round, 1.7 million. You can't beat this guy. This guy's gonna beat me if he tries at all. Then this next guy. So that's 1 for 1. 2 guys. There's a guy with Galactic Legends down here in Carbonite 4. Why? Nobody knows. Because he doesn't. Because he just doesn't play. He just. 6.8 million. So that's 2 guys that if I played against them, they would just completely wipe me. 3 guys. This one is not as dicey. There's still almost double my galactic power and a bunch of Gear 12s and relic characters. A little closer, but again, if this guy decides to play, or this player decides to play, they're probably going to wipe the floor with me if they have any skill at all. So that's a 3 for 3. I'm going to call that. I'm going to call this one competitive, that I can compete against this roster, even though there's a relic character on it. So 3 and 1 right now. Sebaceous, this guy, 1.785. Yeah, this looks like a wipe to me. Even, I'm at 700,000. They're more than double my galactic power. That looks like a player that could just wipe the floor with me if they really try. And this is what you see over and over and over again. These are actually some of the closer matchups I've had. There's one. That was one today. I actually won that one, so I did pretty well there. Congratulations to me to get one really solid matchup. I didn't play this person. This is another one I could have matched up against. But this is actually some of the better matchmaking I've seen the entire time playing Carbonite Grand Arena. And I've been playing, I will tell you guys, I've got my Lord Vader account where I've been playing Carbonite Grand Arena, and I break into Bronzium, then I get knocked back, break into Bronzium, get knocked back. I've been doing that for over a year on that account, and still kind of breaking between Carbonite 1 and Bronzium 4, back and forth, back and forth. And it is constant that the matchups, this should just never happen. And when I look at Grand Arena, I'm going to say that 80 to 90% of the time in Carbonite Grand Arena, and even into Bronzium Grand Arena, it's not a choice of how well I play or if my roster is better than yours. The only thing that matters is, does my opponent play? And you guys saw my last round of Grand Arena that I played. I had 3 scores of 10 points. I lost. I went 1 and 2. I lost 10 to 500 or whatever. Then I won 10 to 0, and then I lost 10 to 500 or whatever it was. It happens too often, all the time, so much in Carbonite. And you guys come into my chat, and you guys come into my comments, and you talk about it all the time. And I want to keep this an active issue. I'm not here yelling and screaming today. My last one was a rant, and angry pointing and stuff. And today we're just having a rational discussion. I just think that Carbonite Grand Arena, for what it gives you and what you get out of it as far as enjoyment in playing a game and trying to compete with other players, is a dead game mode when you're down in Carbonite. So maybe for like the first year of playing, and that's really unfortunate. Now, I don't have the figures. I'm sure it's all a data game, and I'm sure Capital Games looks at it to say how many people are quit the game early on, maybe because they don't get good matchups. I'm sure they're keeping data, and I guarantee they're keeping data on it. For me, the data just doesn't measure up, and it's pretty clear to me that the way the Grand Arena is structured now, it's not structured in a way that's meant to be competitive. It is structured in a way to try to get you to open your wallet up. You got territory wars, where generally speaking, you get pretty competitive matchups against guilds that are very similar to your guild. You got territory battles that is a consistent PvE game mode all the time. You've got Fleet Arena, which, you know, you can climb to the top of that or not. You know what you've got in front of you all the time. And you go into Grand Arena. I'm a hopeful guy. I tend to walk into even my Carbonite Grand Arena matches when I know that the matchups are not going to be there for me. I tend to walk into these matchups thinking, hey, maybe I'll get something I can play with today. And today I actually got one. You know, we've got a win today, and we were playing this Dark Lord 69 that really had a roster that I could handle for once. A roster that, now this time I doubled their galactic powers. So was this Grand Arena fair to them? Well, we're in Carbonite 4, right? So, but I just... What am I trying to say? When I look at an account like this, sitting in Carbonite 4 or 5 or 3, anywhere in Carbonite with 2 Galactic Legends, and Darth Malak at Relic 8, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, come on, man. Like, why are these accounts allowed down here? And I feel like, I hope that there's a long-term solution in the works where maybe there are balances coming to the game, game modes coming out. I don't know what might be in the works where they can balance this out and make this competitive or make it something that's interesting. But I just feel like going into Grand Arena at the low levels of the game, I'm spending at most like 10 minutes in here. And last time around, it was literally like 1 minute each round. I just went in there, got my butt spanked, and then left. And I think I might have played some extra battles just to try to, you know, because I'm a content creator, I had to make it for you. But most of the time, I really think it's 80+% of the time. The options are in Carbonite Grand Arena. You go into Grand Arena, you play against some giant opponent that's got a roster that's twice the size of yours or more. If they play, they win. If they don't play, you win, and that's it. And that's dead. That is the definition of a dead game mode. Now what happens is, as you advance through Grand Arena, you get into Bronzium, you start getting some Galactic Legends on the roster, you start opening and more teams on the roster, you can start punching up. And I did that for my first year and a half, 2 years on my main account, where we were constantly punching up. I'd have somebody, they had like 5 Galactic Legends, I had 3, they were at 6 or 7 million Galactic Power, I was at 4, but because I had my good mods and some Datacrons, and maybe I had an extra Executor where they didn't have Executor, I could punch up on that roster. So it becomes more interesting and entertaining as you go forward, even though you're still, no matter what situation, there have been very today was actually one of them, which is kind of crazy, but in all of my Grand Arena playtime for the last 3 years, very few times when I played against rosters that were not larger and at least 50, 60, 70% of the time substantially larger than my roster. So I had to upskill on them. So I had to show skill by knocking down a bigger roster. So I guess what I'm saying with all this, my feeling is Carbonite Grand Arena is basically a dead game mode right now. Every now and then you get a good matchup. It's just there's just not much to it. I want to hear from you guys in comments. Let me know what you think of. Am I missing the boat here? I don't think I am. You guys talk about it all the time. Hey Nooch, I have a 3 million account and I went to Grand Arena today and my opponent has 7 Galactic Legends and they played. And you're like, yeah, because they went for like, they went the whole last series. They don't play 3v3 and they come into 5v5 and play it, and then they let themselves fall back in 3v3. They sign up and let themselves lose in 3v3, and then they come back and spank noobs in 5v5. That stuff just shouldn't be allowed. That stuff just shouldn't be allowed. It's demotivating. It's not motivating. So if you want us to be motivated to play the game and have some, can we stop letting people manipulate the system, and or these rosters shouldn't climb down the low. Anyway, we'll continue to talk about this. I want to keep it an active topic on the channel, so we're going to find different ways to talk about the mess of Grand Arena down at these lower levels. Let me know in the comments again what you think. If you got some solutions, you know, we talked about some solutions might be tiering off. You know, you can only go to this low in Grand Arena if you're at 4 million Galactic Power. If you're at 6 million, you can only go this low, and etc. on down the road. Maybe we create, I heard Zareth mention like creating an extra Beskar level of Grand Arena, which I think would help, but still wouldn't help, you know, that would, I mean, that would spread it out a little more at the top, but it wouldn't really help us at the bottom. So maybe you also, maybe create a Beskar Grand Arena level at the top, and you create a, I don't know, Poodoo at the bottom where you just put inactive players or players that are scamming or cheesing the system, put them at the bottom so they can't play against people that are actually trying to win and have some fun in the game. So I'd love to see Grand Arena be a fun game mode for everybody again. Right now, Carbonite Grand Arena, dead game mode. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. I'll talk to you very soon. Always remember, Nooch too good.